Welcome to the studio, but before we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode, I would just like to inform my viewers that 97% of views for this channel are those who are not subscribed. So for the overwhelming majority of you, I invite you to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you can be notified for new videos. Thanks for bearing with me. Now on to today's episode. Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. So for October, I came up with a Drawtober theme. And while one might think it's all going to be paintings, they were mostly just supposed to be themed around Halloween, the color schemes around Halloween, and or supernatural things, while kind of sort of keeping it natural. Yeah, that's a thing we can do. We can totally do that. One of the other challenges that I want to do for this first piece is I wanted to take some notes and some inspiration from something I saw when I was in Disney. And that was their Happily Ever After fireworks and laser show that they do at Magic Kingdom. In reflecting on the elements of the Happily Ever After show that I really enjoyed, and things at Disney that I enjoyed that I'd like to start incorporating into my artwork in a more creative sense and maybe perhaps a little bit less realistic sense. I'd like to thank the Disney Parks channel for having a copy of the 4K version of the Happily Ever After show, so it gave me time to review it without being overwhelmed by everything that goes on at that show, and kind of break down the elements that I really liked about it without necessarily incorporating the music or the storyline. So a few things that are big takeaways when you are a big, I wouldn't say aficionado, because that's really just out there, like way out there, like I'm a Disney aficionado. Nobody does that. So some of the things that in Disney's artwork, their fireworks show, whether it's the Happily Ever After show, the Rivers of Light show, the Tree of Life show, I can't really say the same for the show that they do at Epcot, which has now changed, so it's hard for me to be... What in the Nine Hills? Okay, so this is a thing that's going on. Disney's haunting me now. This is the show I'm talking about, playing in the background over here. I seriously didn't even cue that up. I don't know what's going on. Oh my god. Alright. Anyway, they're talking about this particular show. This one runs on laser projection, and you have a standard facade. In this case, it's Cinderella Castle. They do the same thing with the Tree of Life at Animal Kingdom, where they have a facade and they use laser projectors to project an image. You can buy the projectors for your own home, however, most people don't buy more than one, so you can't really get the image. Let me turn this down before I wind up with a copyright strike. Okay. Okay, cool. Sound's off. Oh, thanks, Walt. These things here in the background where they have like swirls going on, that effect right there, that one right there. Oh god, I got the chills now. Okay. This is what I kind of wanted to help recreate. This little scroll line here and how they use the scroll lines to create another facade on the castle. So not only in this case, they changed the facade, they changed the complete color of this of the castle. Okay, they changed the theming, they changed the ambiance, and of course once you change the color scheme and you change the general theming, you wind up with changing the atmosphere and the mood of it. Now with this one, for God's sakes, this as a castle looks really gaudy, but not only that, they do the fireworks scene. And this is a fireworks and laser show. It's really involved. When you're at the show, it's very overwhelming, and it's very awe-inspiring. When you combine it with the music and the storytelling, it's top-notch Disney. I really like it. But to be able to create this kind of sense of motion in a painting is really difficult, because paintings are stagnant. They're motionless. They don't move. So the challenge is to take a subject, give it a set of color scheming lines that kind of go with something like this, where Disney uses brighter colors. It's The darks are dark, but they're there to accent the colors, so maybe not so many realistic colors. And then I kind of want to be able to give it a sort of fantasy theme feel. I'm not really sure how I'm going to accomplish this, because with animation you clearly have movement, and with, well, fireworks you have that definite sparkle, so that kind of completes that whole magical ambiance. So, I've got a halflinger, I should say this. I've got a halflinger foal that I took a picture of that was, I think, 2 weeks old. I'll put the reference picture up here and kind of cancel out the happily ever after thing because we don't need to see this anymore. I'll put a link to the happily ever after video that's 4K at the Disney parks, so you can take a look at it and you'll kind of have a feeling of kind of what I'm going with. It's really creepy that claim. I didn't open it up, I swear to God. Alright, but there's, along with the halflinger foal, which I'm choosing to do, that was part of my October challenge, was to do one horse, and kind of theming it around the Happily Ever After show with the color schemes and the use of light and scroll work and flourishes. Also going with a kind of Halloween color theme, so purples and reds and dark colors with some light. I did pick up my color palette. My color palette is going to be, for the background, total, as Mars Black, Titanium White, Ultramarine Blue, Cadmium Yellow, Dioxine Purple, this is the tongue twister, Quinacridone Violet, Cadmium Red Medium Hue, Quinacridone Crimson, which is an actual red color versus it being a bluish red. So Quinacridone Crimson versus Quinacridone Violet, they act differently. And then Yellow Oxide, which I very commonly use, and then another like standard one for me, which is Burnt Sienna. Now, the umbers are totally gone from this. I want to have it bright and warm and not dull at all. So this is going to be kind of a challenge, because to create a realistic piece but kind of give it a Disney feel, I have no idea how I'm going to do that, because to me that's like out of my range. So that's where we're going for this right now. Walt Disney's creepy. Turn this off. Why is this playing? Yay, hopefully nothing creepy is gonna happen today. Hopefully nothing creepy is gonna fucking happen. Okay. Welcome back to the studio, guys. We're on day 2 of our Drawtober challenge. This one is gonna involve the fall full thing. I think I'm gonna call it First Frost, because the whole concept is kind of like a horse that's kind of like the Elsa of horses. He comes out in the fall and then he creates frost and creates the first day of, well, the first frost of the winter season. So that's what I'm kind of going with. That's the kind of theme we're going with. So in my in the transitions, which is the background, because I'm not really going to give it a lot of hard landscaping or background, so that it would be concrete. Mars Black, Dioxine Purple, Acro Magenta or Quinacridone Violet, Quinacridone Crimson, Cadmium Red Light Hue, Cadmium Yellow Medium Hue, and Titanium White. You're going to see a little bit of blue as we transition into the back of the fold to kind of put distance and light between it, so we see the return of Ultramarine Blue. Now, in order to make this less cartoony in its features and tones, you're going to see the return of 2 classic colors, Yellow Oxide, and, of course, Burnt Sienna. As far as challenges with the reference material, which the full reference is right here. So this full is, honestly, it's kind of dirty. I mean, it wasn't exactly the grassy, noble fields of wherever it is rich people keep their horses. It's a working ranch, and these 2 draft horses, you know, have a foal, and it was a rainy day the night before, so the foal got dirty. The foal is muddy. But what I need to do is create light and create that Disney feel. So we're eliminating our standard colors that would normally be included with this. So burnt umber and raw umber, which I would normally do to create shadows with this, we're getting rid of it. It's a cold color. I want it kind of light and create that Disney feel. And the umber colors are a cold blue brown color, and it looks a little muddy, and so I want to kind of stay away from them. The other thing is that I want to keep with the amount of realism that I normally have with the pieces, except that I'm going to also minimize the use of the yellow oxide, which again would be a standard in the formula for painting this halflinger, but we're going to kind of get rid of it and rely more heavily on the cadmium yellows, which give you that more cartoony feel and a lighter, brighter feel. Also, one of the things that I want to bring up has nothing to do with this project, has to do with another project, but may or may not be included in future videos if you guys are interested. I got a top hat when I was in Disney Springs in early summer, and I wanted to kind of decorate it themed-wise, and a friend of mine is having a masquerade-themed wedding in a couple of weeks, and so I had to get a mask. And so I found this one, and I think it's super pretty. Like, totally check out this, check that out, it's so shiny. It's so shiny. Okay, so I wouldn't normally get this, but glitter is not my thing. It is so not my thing, but it's supposed to be a masquerade thing, and you can't really buy a masquerade mask without glitter. And the thing with the glitter, look, dude, look at my office, man. There isn't an ounce of glitter anywhere unless we're talking about Christmas decorations, and I'm pretty much thinking that that's a requirement, but it's got glitter on it, and it makes a wonderful accent. So I've been thinking about how to do this painting and be able to create that movement that they do. Here, let me put it on the right side of the page. You know, they create the movement on there with the shimmering from the castle, and so I was like, I could do this. Well, it doesn't really work when I have my hat on. And put this on my face just like this, and then it's shimmery, glittery, and just well, it's a little big for my face, and I think I have to actually put some makeup on around it, but it should work just fine. Cool. Don't know. I'm still kind of digging into how to create the kind of movement that they have in that video that strangely popped up the other time I was recording the other day. So I'm still kind of working with how to create movement with matte paints. Clearly you can do it with just gradients, although I want it to be something that you almost kind of have to be there for. Kind of like you almost have to be there for happily ever after. It better not involve glitter, because this is... Hey guys, welcome back to the studio. So we're on day 5 with that painting with the fall and the autumn colors. So I've really been researching on how to kind of do the scroll work and the flourishes to kind of give it some movement, because the whole concept that we're trying to imply is that this horse is effectively magically endowed. It's the Elsa of horses, perhaps. It'll grow out. It's not like a permanent thing. There's no song and dance. People who are freaking singing Let It Go need to let it go and stop singing that song, because we're not letting it go. We're just going to get this painting done, I'm telling you. So, using the scroll work, I've come up with a couple of designs that will kind of make it look like the movement that the wind would have or his breath would have. And of course, since he's supposed to have frosty breath, we kind of need to be able to show that transition and that movement. But because it's also supposed to be a magical thing, you know, because Disney, we kind of need to figure out how we're going to imply movement without just using plain gradients. Because I've looked at, and I have done gradients in order to do light. So like lightning and clouds giving light and glowing clouds and sunsets and everything. I've done that. And it's not so much that I want to imply a source of light, because that's easy. I want to imply movement as you change position when you're viewing it. And sadly, I think like the only way I'm going to be able to do this is with like metallics or with glitter. And I'm thinking glitter because when you watch like Disney videos and any real video, or even like a realism video like Harry Potter, they use a lot of glitter effects, and then there's chimes and bring with, you know, whenever a spell is cast. And so I kind of want to give that kind of lightheartedness, but so it looks like I might have to resort to glitter. And like, I'm really not looking forward to this. I've looked on the internet and I haven't found a decent way to transpose like a flat mat into a movement in a paint. The only glitter I really have right now is with my Christmas supplies, which is like glitter paint for using on the dragons and some of this other stuff, and fake snow. So I'm gonna have to go to the store. And I have another bit of bad news. So remember Melina's mask? I don't want to touch it anymore. Because I have glitter that came off of it on my cheek here when I was kind of trying to get it fitted better, and it won't wash off. So if you see this, this is not a, well, it's kind of a shiny. I mean, it glitters like a shiny. It won't wash off. That's why they call it craft herpes, I suppose. Look like a road flare. Hey guys, hey, it's me. So I thought I'd post an update. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I bought some glitter, and I think it might work out. It looks really fabulous. It's just fabulous. I love it. It's a dude by the name of Blaise. He actually used to draw for Disney. He's worked on a couple big motion pictures like Brother Bear. So he was writing he did a tutorial on making a glow come out of a painting, and how you have to have the whitest part of the glow has to be the whitest element or the lightest element in the painting, and everything else has to be darker than that, otherwise it doesn't look like it's glowing. And then also, because it's a source of light, you have to change your lighting direction. So I played with that, and I played with the glitter, but I keep running into this problem where I put the glitter, which is supposed to create light, and it's in the middle of the white, and then it doesn't create glitter. It doesn't, glitter. It doesn't create light, it just creates specks, and sometimes those specks are darker than the white that's around it, so it's like, ugh, it's like sand on it, and it's just the sand sparkles. Sorry if I look a little bit under the weather. I'm gonna go to the doctor after this, because I still haven't been able to get that glitter off my face, and pretty sure it's gonna get infected soon. So I'm gonna take the afternoon off, and I'm gonna go. And hopefully I'll see you in a few days. Okay? Hey guys, so welcome back to this video. I don't want to make you worry or anything. I'm feeling a lot better. I did go to the doctor, and well, it turns that I have, fortunately, the studio here at Morning Hawk Creations is now quarantined for an STD. And I hate to inform anybody who may have been here in the last 14 days, y'all might want to get your stuff checked out for shiny transmittable disease. That's right, I've got a raging case of craft glitter. The doctor says that right now they're contacting the CDC about it. I'm not in any pain. I've gone back to working on the project. They're hoping that maybe the CDC has some kind of cream or salve. They continue to tell me to wash my face, but as you can see, it's gone from that little patch to a whole hot mess. So, but it's so shiny. I love it. I can't wait to do it more with this piece. Okay, so I'm okay. I'm okay. We were talking last time about Aaron's video and doing glow effects on your artwork and how to do that so you have your whitest source of light, the source of your glow, and that becomes your light source for your painting. Otherwise it really doesn't look like it's glowing. Then we're moving on to kind of like that shimmer movement, and I mentioned the Disney video earlier from Happily Ever After, and you can do that really easily with animation because the lines move. However, when you're talking about a painting, it's stationary, has no actual physical movement, and so now we have to create movement. While flourish lines have a tendency of drawing the eye, it doesn't necessarily give it actual movement. So that becomes kind of the problem with painting with just men. If anybody's wondering why my hair got cut, it's because shortly before going to the doctor, I had this really great idea for a shimmering glitter color in my hair. And unfortunately, my hair just didn't like it, and it fried my hair, and so I had to cut my bangs. But, you know, it's still in my hair. So my hair looks fabulous. I love it. It's just a little bit shorter than it was originally, but that's okay because it's low maintenance and more light. Okay. Today's going over some techniques. I scoured the internet looking for how to make glitter work with a painting. And when you're talking like a matte painting with glitter, you have the first problem is you have a shiny surface versus a matte surface. And most of the suspensions that are with glitter paint are a high gloss surface. They're a high gloss finish. So that was a problem because you have to go from a matte to a high gloss. So I was unable to find anything in painting with glitter paints as far as making a whole painting. I mean, if you want to coat something that's like a box or a letter or something made out of cardboard, it's fabulous. It's all going to be the same color because you can shade, but coverage, it's a thing. But if you're talking about going from a matte to a finished piece where it's glitter and you can get that movement with light and the reflection and refraction of light, yeah, there's nothing out there. So I had to kind of spend a lot of time looking over this and trying to figure out how I was going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to show you the two kinds of paints that I picked out and I've been kind of playing with. Thus the reason the massive raging case of craft herpes conjunctivitis hasn't left. Like I said, I'm waiting for the CDC to call me back. Who knows? So the first one is this FolkArt, and this hasn't got actual color to it. So I've been kind of playing with the temperature of how hot or cold I want the cold wind to feel. And this is a fairly cool color, very pale color. And then there is this other one, which is the Dragonfly Glaze. Now both of these are micro glitter paint things. So not craft glitter. I wasn't expecting to get this from this, but I got this from these, and it's okay, everything's really shiny. Directions with it, so bear that in mind, that part of your complication with using glitter paint on a matte surface is that you're going to have the initial transition between a matte finish and a glitter finish, and that's going to affect your lines of action. And here's the second one, is refraction versus reflection. Some paints are opaque, and they have opaque, I don't want to say pigment, because glitter's not really a pigment. But like with this one, it's transparent, and then with this one, there is opaque flakes in it, so it actually, when you put it down on a white surface, creates dark spots that in the right light would reflect light but leave a dark halo around the piece of glitter. So keep your glitter off of your whitest spots, okay? Don't put them there because it'll make it look like you dropped sand everywhere. You don't want to look like you dropped sand everywhere. Also, that glitter reflects certain temperatures. Now, while the conjunctivitis here is clearly two different colors, you can buy blue and you can buy this dragonfly. The dragonfly is actually really cool because it adapts to the background color. So if I have a yellow surface, it reflects really warm yellow colors. If I have a blue-green surface, it reflects blue-green surfaces, or blue-green light, because that's the light surrounding it. So that's kind of cool. However, again, keep in mind, it's going to create black spots in your white spots, and nobody wants their white spots to look dirty. So keep your glitter, regardless of whether or not it's reflective. I just made up a word. Keep your glitter, regardless of whether or not it's refractive or reflective, out of your whitest spots where you want your light to shine through. Effectively, where your light would shine through would be blown out, and therefore you would have no detail whatsoever. Glitter adds back detail. So don't add in glitter to white spots. Hey guys, welcome back to the studio, and as you can see, it's gotten worse. CDC called, there is no cure for a raging case of graft herpes. I'm kind of hoping that somebody will release a soap which I can wash this monstrosity off my face, and until then it keeps sprouting stupid things like this stone in the middle of my head. So, needless to say, my hat wearing is going to be ending, at least for the moment. Okay, so what can we say about painting with glitter? First one, make sure that you are aware of its refraction versus reflection. One is the bending of light, the other one is the absolute reflection of light. So one is going to be dark and the other one is going to be translucent, but will still have a cast shadow around it. So make sure you know that. Keep your glitter out of your whitest spots, because if you don't, it's gonna bring it down, okay? Second point. Glitter reflects a certain temperature of light. Case in point, we're going to look at my face, see the glitter here reflects blue light, that's cool temperature. The glitter over here reflects a warm light. So if you are doing something like a frost, like we are with this painting, then make sure that you keep your blues consistent across the board. Now, with this piece, you'll notice that I did not carry the blues over into the body of the colt, because yellow and blue are complementary colors, and so they basically cancel each other out, make gray, and the full started looking like it was gray rather than gold, and the highlight wasn't looking blue, it looked gray, so it looked dirty. So be aware of your color theory when you're adding glitter to your painting. Okay? Another note. Your solvent that your paint is floating in will dry two things, glossy and clear. So when you look at it, it looks very, very light. When it dries, it's going to dry much darker because the solvent's going to dry clear, exposing all the glitter. Again, that gets back to your refraction versus reflection. Reflection is going to have darker glitter, okay? Darker glitter. Okay. Alright, so, another point. Different sizes of glitter. So, micro glitter versus bigger glitter, or even sequins. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why this effect looks so cool when I started, and now it just looks like a hot mess. But this is all now on my finger. This is all different sizes of glitter. In fact, the blue glitter actually has different shapes and like moons and stars and other bullshit in it. And it will create distance in between. So if you need a real fine highlight, keep with the micro glitter. If you want sort of a bokeh effect, or if you want to pull your glitter effect into the foreground, use a larger grade of glitter. So with these two glitters, they kind of cast the background, and then to create the sort of forward motion, I got this. Now there's a huge difference in the size of the glitter between these and this one, okay? So it creates a huge jump in space. So the foreground with the frost and the temperature dropped air comes forward and gives it motion. When using glitter on mats, blend them as you normally would. Don't use a chunky, huge, heavy layer. Keep it light and then keep layering and then fade it out. Just like everything else, it'll get a fade on it. You will be able to blend it out as if it was part of the painting rather than making it look clunky and junky and trashy and not what you want. Do not use opaque paints and paints that have opaque bases to them with your glitter. It will cancel it out. So again, we're going to go with this makeup job. So right here, I put white makeup on, and I had to cover up this over here, which dulled down the paint. Well, it dulled down the glitter. I said it backwards. The paint dulled down the glitter, then I had to repaint glitter on top of it. So that's what's going to happen. I don't know if I can show up so much over there. That's what's going to happen if you paint opaque paints with glitter paints, okay? There's a reason why it's floated in a clear gloss medium, so that the glitter can do its job as glitter, and that is to reflect and refract light. You can use glitter as an expression of pre or post movement. In case of this painting, we're using the glitter without the scroll work and without the flourishes to kind of say, yes, there's another wave of this temperature coming, or there's another movement coming, but it's not as strong as the initial body of the movement. So it's a way of kind of pushing it out into the rest of the painting without overburdening it, without doing a ton of stylized scrolling and flourishes. Another point I'm going to reiterate because it's really important, keep your glitter, whether even if it's like an opalescent, like even if it's this stuff which is translucent, or this stuff, this dragonfly paint. Even if it's an opalescent paint, keep it off of your lightest tones, and don't just think like my light source. Think like your backgrounds and places that are highlighted on your subjects, because it's going to create vacuums of light. Even translucent glitter, which will bend the light in order to refract it and bend it back to you, is going to cause a shadow. Okay, so if you have a highlight where there's a light emitting and then you want to put glitter around it to kind of keep that movement going, skip the lightest sections of it and move on, because the light will already be produced by the impression of the lightest values in your painting. And my last tip. I had to apply this to this too here. So the last tip is to make sure you divide your brushes and do not use your standard brushes with your glitter paints, because inevitably you will not be able to get every single speck of glitter out of your regular brushes. Soap and water with your brushes, and keep your glitter brushes separate from your regular matte paint brushes, because otherwise they might not dry clean, they might have a single fleck, and honestly, when you're in the middle of a very expensive, maybe custom piece, that's not going to be something you want, is that piece of glitter that's like in your way, and then you have to clean up the whole mess. So those are my tips. This is the painting. I'm going to get this crap off my face, because this was funny to begin with, and now it's just really annoying. Son of a bitch, there's glitter everywhere! Why couldn't I just stick to painting? Why did I have to make this a skit? Oh, it's gonna take me days to clean this up! Son of a bitch!